Welcome to one of my Runeterra highlight videos. I highlight a different deck almost every single day of the week. If you enjoy the content, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Enjoy. Alright, Lux Ashe Control. So this is one of the control decks you can find up on my website. I like this one a lot. Lux is a really powerful piece of top end / control finisher. 4/5 for 6 with barrier. So she often stalls the board the turn she comes into play because she doesn't take a hit the first time she would take damage in a turn. And when she's seen you cast 6+ mana worth of spells, she levels up and creates a final spark in her hand, which helps us control the board. So this deals 4 damage to an enemy, and it has overwhelm, so excess damage gets dealt from what you're targeting to your opponent's dome, so she can help burn them out. Her leveled mode continues to make final sparks every single time you play 6+ mana worth of spells in a turn. And then our second champion in this deck is Ashe, and Ashe is a card that really helps us turn the corner hard and fast when we're ready to win the game. So Ashe frostbites the strongest enemy every time she attacks, and then she levels up when you frostbitten 5+ enemies. And then her leveled mode says enemies with 0 power can't block. So what frequently happens is we use our cheap frostbite effects and interactive units to keep the board in check. And then eventually, like turns like 7, 8, 9, we'll have a leveled Ashe and a board full of units, and we'll get to attack, frostbite down a bunch of our opponent's board, and make them not be able to block us. Now, things like Harsh Winds are exceptionally powerful in this archetype because not only does this Frostbite 2 things for Ashe at burst speed, but this is also a 6 mana burst speed spell for leveling Lux and generating future final sparks. Remembrance levels up Lux, generates final sparks. The bottom end of our deck is a bunch of cheap units such as Iceveil Archer, Rhymefang Wolf, Tavern Keeper to help keep us alive. Vanguard Sergeant might seem like a little bit of an odd one in my mid-range control deck, but it's notably just a 3/3 for 3 that plays to the board very cheaply, and it generates a 6 mana spell. And while this spell isn't super exciting in our deck, it's another way for us to trigger final sparks, and this can be beneficial in pushing that last burst of damage on the turn we attack with an Ashe, making our things largely unblockable. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this, and see what we've got going on. See how it feels. Kench Soraka, eh? Rhymetusk plus Challenger seems good. Tavern Keeper, Mulligans. If I'm not a real adult, at the very least I play a good one on television. Now, I think the best chance to win that game, Lampton, was, killing them with Ashe the following turn. I think my play was correct. Being a Twitch partner rep sounds a lot like being a preschool teacher. It's funny because it's true. How do you feel about Rhymefang here? It could also just be this to get, let's get pressure going with this. If we can hit a big challenger, like we hit the Dargon here, it's real good. It depends on how much you interact with chat, Lampton. I have often said that if you're someone who's very interactive with your chat, Twitch streaming is a lot like being a parent. You have to speak slowly and repeat yourself frequently.
Win streak.
What was that advice? Can you say it again?
It's a big responsibility to shepherd stars.
Alright, what are we doing here? I think I'm just Innkeeper, heal you up. Hoping to dodge their landmark here, so they can't grow this up.
We're all family here.
Digging for the landmark here, perhaps. We'll let them crank this up to 6 attack. I don't have the Lulu on this loadout. Speaking of children, backed my chair up and hit a giant stuffed animal behind me. Both A. See, giant giraffe and giant elephant on the floor of my office. I mean, the long and short of it is that most people, all people, I'm gonna say all people who are able to stream as a full-time job, myself included, are able to do so because we're very lucky individuals. That's not to say that being fortunate is divorced of also working hard. It's just the reality that you only get to have this as a job if a lot of fortunate things break your way. Dachata! Thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. That +4 life there means that they are not able to deploy Kench this turn, which seems good for us. I'm gonna go ahead and get Rhyme Tusk down. Getting her just up. Like, there's nothing we really love frostbiting here, but just getting her frostbites going means when we eventually draw an Ash and we have Berg here, that Ash will be more deadly.
Calm of an ice-shrouded world.
Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Yeah, that's a good quote. Very, very accurate. Because I work very hard here doing this as my job, but definitely, like I said, fortunate to have had the start that I have.
If I kill you, I don't fortunes.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
I'm pretty sure we're the beatdown in this matchup season, Pyromancer. They're basically a glorified prison deck. I disagree with that assertion. Luck is what happens when my opponent wins. Skill is what happens when I win.
Look after our own.
How's Remembrance been? Remembrance is great.
The time is right. Strike now.
Remember the 13th of November. Remembrance triggers your Mage Seeker Persuaders. It levels up Lux. Very flexible.
Ice runs in our veins.
So this is 11, 17. Do I just try and kill them here? I think I just try and kill them here, right? 11, 17. They could have Guiding Touch. Play the wolf out to start. See what they do. Because I can Ice Veil plus single combat here still. They do not play the gain 5. They play the gain 2 though.
Not and ready.
They don't play Star Shaping. Usually. Asterisk. Obviously they could. The established builds of Soraka Kench do not though.
We're all family here.
Pale Cascade. I was like, what did they do to give that power? This is medium against a second Pale Cascade, but otherwise is very good for us. They could have Bastion here as well, but that's not too big of a deal because I'm still going to have decent attacks.
Arrow flies.
So Ash is going to Frostbite this. And then I think I pull these two. And then we put them to 2. This seems good for us. I don't think I want to pull this here. Because if they heal something... it gains attack again, and then it eats this. And I just want to get rid of their blockers. And at 4 mana, they need to heal 2 things for this to kill Ash.
Avarosa, guide me.
And with Harsh Winds and Shaman here, we're pretty unlikely to die on their next turn. They could have Pale Cascade plus a heal. This Babbling Berg, remember, is another copy of Ash for next turn, though, even if they killed her, which they did not.
Sends chills up my spine.
Goodbye, friend. We also have a Crystal Arrow here, which is lovely.
I must inspire where once I shepherded.
Right, that's my job. Shepherding, I mean.
I will find the goodness in you, River King.
Hope only provides temporary sustenance, child.
Stars, hear me.
Yeah, Berg always finding Ash is very, very good.
Oh,
Big agree. The voice interaction was Soraka and Kench. Patat. Go to 13. Open attacks and kill you.
The frost reveals all to me.
Let us peruse.
Not quite open attacks, but close enough. Oh, I suppose we could get hushed here. Even if they hush Ash, they're still dead, right? They need to hush Ash plus have other stuff.
Swiftly now.
I think I force this block here, so that way if they hush Ash, this is dead. So if they hush Ash, they can block, but then they go like block, block, and take 9 still. I think this is the play. So Hush's burst and can wipe the 0 power enemies can't block here. Guiding Touch does not give this attack, and they're dead. Sweet. Good stuff. See, we knew we were found out. I just gotta stick with it. So Johnny Gangplank, you say? I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for a Remembrance to pair with this. I think I keep Tavern Keeper. This archetype tends to be more aggressive, so that effect could be useful. It is definitely a strict buff. Jinx is now strictly better than she was prior. Perfect, just like we drew it up. The Jinx changes the definition of a strict buff. You're right that it's also a continuity thing, but it being a continuity thing doesn't change the fact that it's also a strict buff. Yeah, Jin, not only did they make a ton of really reasonable balance changes, but they also gave us,
Don't know much, do you?
they also gave us a bunch of really sweet data. Yeah, I think in general, Hat Crab, the consistency change was good. I think making Lucian and Jinx's wording consistent with Sajani is a net positive for the game overall. Yes, yeah, I completely agree with that logic, Logan. Them being linguistically consistent is a good thing. Yeah, I'm also not entirely convinced that discard aggro is too good for the format. Like, obviously, its good draws beat people up, but there's a good chance that, like, the Ezreal Vile Feast decks are still very reasonable against discard aggro. So I need to see what those matchups look like overall to see if they're balancing out its overall win percentage.
Got a surprise for him.
I'm just gonna go ahead and Tavern Keeper here.
Safety will cost you.
I mean, all decks lose games sometime, Fellerson. You have to remember, in a card game like this, a metric that's considered potentially worrying is like a 50, 55, 56% win rate. Like, even an absurd, like, 60, 65% where you're still losing 1 in 3 or 2 in 5.
Ever consider a henching career?
Do I Brittle Steel this? I think I do. That's a good timeout from Dr. Mister there. Let's not compare the topic of suicide to things that capitalistic companies could or couldn't do. At least not in my spaces. Oh, by the way, it's Friday. I didn't tweet out my schedule for next week, but I've got it mostly updated on my calendar. I'm going to be live. I am taking tomorrow morning off, Saturday morning, but I'm going to be live Saturday or Sunday morning this week. We're gonna do some extra gauntlets. we feel about Ashe plus Mage Seeker here? I think I'm into it.
Mages can't hide from me.
And then she can attack Frostbite this, and we can hook it and kill it. She's gonna get to Frostbite this, but that's fine if that's down for a turn.
Unite the Freljord.
The frost reveals all to me.
And then if there's good feedback on the best of 3 gauntlets in terms of the content they make, we'll probably do some weekend streams next weekend too, to do them again. I really liked best of 1 pick ban, so I'm excited to see what best of 3 pick ban feels like. I have 2 viewer-submitted lineups that we're going to be playing that are listed in the deck queue. I need to figure out what 3 decks I want to play of my choosing.
About my rules.
We do this and then bank spell mana this turn. They try and kill this, we'll single combat these 2.
You want it rough.
You want it rough.
Ready, ready?
Not yet. Go to go.
So I have 11 mana total here. I think I'm probably flash freezing and single combating this turn. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Rhyme Fang Wolf and see where we go from there. I could Rhyme Fang, Remembrance, flash freeze, and single combat, which is great. Yeah, the interface for the poker site's super clean. I spent some time playing it last night to get familiar with it. Just go ahead and end the round here. I think I do Mage Seeker first, into Ashe, into Flash Freeze attack.
Their guilt is evident.
They could have a leveled Sajani or Gangplank here, is the worry about developing before we attack, but I also think I want to go wider to try and get this game over with ASAP.
Winter take you.
My Ice Veil Archer, rude.
Faster than my arrow?
I think not. So Ashe is unfortunately 3 away from leveling, so can't level her up this turn. We can clean out a lot of their board here at least.
I was forged by winter. Bow to no one.
Okay, So...
The time is right. Strike now.
Stand in judgment.
Avarosans, stand together.
You can't outrun justice.
What if we do this? Think I like it?
Just run while
They have a warning shot, we get blown out. They do not.
Well fought.
They have a lot of cards in hand still, though. If they have like a gangplank here, we could be in trouble.
Ready for deployment.
They had 1 mana, and they could have had a parlay.
Keep up, keep up.
So if they would have had a parlay there, they could have parlayed this. Save the dragon because it grows instead of the 4/3. That's probably a good observation. Parlay is slow though, sure, but if I played the 2/2, they'd get priority to play it, which is why I didn't play the 2/2 pre-combat.
Winter is the Freljord's true ruler.
This is probably wrong. I'm probably supposed to play this in case they have Gangplank. Because if they play Gangplank, I'd want to 4 Demacia defensively.
Gotta go with the flow.
Alright, no Gangplank, but they're hitting us for 4 this turn. That's elusive.
Through the coral.
How do I feel about overwriting this with this so I have a 4 Demacia next turn? I think I'm kind of into it. Alternatively, I could overwrite this one because it only has 1 toughness. Of course, it's also going to get bigger from the 4 Demacia.
Discipline and steel.
They drew a couple of cards here, so they could easily have that parlay that I was talking about a second ago to kill Ash or my Wolf here. So overrating could be wrong. Yeah. Not confident with that overrate play there. It's possible I should have passed back because the odds of them having parlay were high.
Ice runs in our veins.
They just drew 2 cards off of our deck, so like Harsh Winds is a possibility we have to play around now too. I don't think I've drawn any of those. This game I don't recall.
Soldiers, me.
Alright, fair. Playing it out's kind of a wash, right? It just makes them use their mana. I think that's fine.
Courage, soldier.
Yeah, it means they have to pick between Harsh Winds or 4 Demacia. And like, I still get a decent hit in here, right? Because like, I have 4 challengers, and they're only gonna have 4 blockers. I have 6 attackers with 4 challengers. They have 4 blockers. We get to challenge all of their things. Afternoon Niv.
Knocked and ready.
Shatter them.
You have no alibi.
You have no alibi. If they drew Harsh Winds off our deck here, they kill us next turn with Elusives. They Harsh Winds these. And then they 4 Demacia, attack for 10. Oh, they did play 2 of my cards, you're right. This and this, right? Very likely. It actually doesn't tell us, right? This is very likely ours, though.
The frost reveals all to me.
Alright. Well, I mean, if we live through the turn, that's not bad. Really sweating Gangplank and Sajani here. Both their champions are very good.
You will not prevail.
There'll be blood in the water.
Well, they killed our Rhyme Tusk, which is sad.
Neither the flames nor the depths can claim me.
Alright. I mean, they have 4 Demacia here, right?
Carved from the savage cold.
Wow, did they really just not 4 Demacia me? Yeah, if we attack, Sajani ices our board.
Break their legs. You dare slack on my ship?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have to attack anyways.
Line 'em up.
I can't hook Monkey last. Gangplank's trigger. What a silly game this has been.
All hands on deck!
That's terrifying.
Will no one listen?
That's not the level Tryndamere I wanted for Christmas. That's a card I wanted for Christmas, though. All I want for Christmas is you. No! Gangplank!
I'll make corpses of them all.
Am I technically dead? We're technically not dead, right? We're only mostly dead.
I'll lead us to victory.
All the world on one arrow.
All right, Ash plus Zed. Let's go. Let's go. We can do it, chat. I believe in us. Ash plus Zed. So our friends are all getting frostbitten by this. Those are all dying except for Ash anyway. So these are the freest of blocks. What a just absolutely crazy game.
Without a sound.
Oh no! Not the monkey idol, chat! Made a keg! It made a keg! Wait, does that let us... We're so close? I feel like we've got to be close here, right? We just assume that this does nothing. So right now, we make this not block, and then they have 3 blockers to 3 attackers. So I think the play is Fiora, see what they do.
By my honor, you must die.
Chat, they have 4 Demacia, chat. Chat, they have 4 Demacia. That's what this face-up card is here. The one thing the Runeterra interface could do better is showing you visually, like, what these cards are.
Show me a target.
So now we have lethal if they have nothing, right? And we're definitely in the business of making them have it.
We go as one.
You picked the losing side. No cracks. Lunch.
Leave no survivors.
Ever gone flying?
Yeah, I should definitely just attack and make this card stop me from having lethal. People saying, why don't you Crystal Arrow? 4 Demacia undoes it. It gives them 3/3. What a just absolutely insane game. Pour one. Let's pour one out. Let's pour one out for Howling Abyss, huh? That was super wild. This deck's fine. We won a couple of games. We lost a couple of close games. We got ran over in a couple of games. That just happens sometimes. I think this deck is fun. I think it's a neat take on control. I think I was pretty happy with the 1 copy of Howling Abyss in that set, but I don't think I want to draw multiple of these, so I don't think I'd go up to a second. In the games where Howling Abyss is really good, you tend to have time to draw it because the games go long. So the one thing that really stood out to me is that Vanguard Sergeant felt like it was worth its slot. Really kind of saw in that last game the flexibility that having that 4 Demacia offered us, and the one turn we had a really big attack with it. Just normally not a card that you would really think to include in a control deck. It looks like a more aggressively slanted card, but just the fact that this card synergizes with Lux really puts it up over the top for us, I think. So, all right, we are going to